if you write messy, it may not be very readable, right? If you like 10 lines, 10 statements one after another, comma, it goes beyond the screen, so that is not readable. So just to make you know what they mean by readable, right? And in general, if you are a developer, your code will be definitely read by other developers in your group, or even future developers, they will read it. So in general, it's a good practice to write your code in a readable way, right? I think maintainable code usually is the code that is written well, right? So Python has some guide how to write code, right? How to style your code. Okay. As I told, it is on top of syntax, right? On top of what is allowed. But the thing is, even if something is syntactically correct, it compiles, it runs, but it may not have good style, right? It may not have good style. So if it is not good style, then others will not understand it easily, right? Just for example, comment, right? Commenting is a good style, so you need to comment your code, right? You need to comment your code, and the way you comment, it also has some guideline how to write a comment, right? Commenting itself is a style. You need to maintain comment, consistent comment, and correct comment, up-to-date comment. That will make your code more readable. Now, how you comment, that is one other way, right? How do you comment single line or a block, or whether you comment on the side or on the top, those kind of things, right? Anyway, let's go through by the document and by the guide. Okay. So I believe you guys can see my screen. Okay, so code layout, right? Let's say, so yes, this can compile, this will compile, so far I can see this code will compile, but I believe it is shown to be wrong in terms of style, right? In terms of style, it is wrong. I think I need to say probably one step more, that it's wrong as per PEP 8 guideline, right? Okay. So let's say what they might want. In this case, this one, they actually will want this just under var1 here, right? That way it will look better. So you can see this one here, that's something as per PEP 8 guide, it looks like sort of good style, right? But this is not, I think, yes, we just sometimes have to do, we write the code and we press enter, it goes to the next line, then we don't bother much, right? We just go to the go with working on implementing our thing. But I think it pays off to align it well, or align it in such a way so that it makes sense. I think in that case you can see, okay, these are parameters, right? These are within those first bracket, so these are the parameters of this function. So it is more clear here than here. Sometimes it can get confusing, right? This is hanging. So let's see, in this case there is nothing in these line parameters. We just took it, but ideally in that case you probably can keep it probably 4 space from the left. That can be one thing, right? Like this one, 4 space from the left, or a tab. Here we actually keep 4 space from the function name, right? From the function name, 4 space, because it is the parameters, and then when it goes to the next line, then we sort of from the left 4 space, right? So yeah. Okay, this is also the this is also correct. This is also correct in terms of PEP 8 guide. Okay, it is just saying that, let's see, here we did 4 space from the left, but we did not do 4 space from the left, probably 2 or 3, but it's still that's good. It's still that's good, but I think this is not aligning just with the function name to start with. That is seen to be not right. But in any case, we did not align with the function name, right? In the correct sense, let's see, aligned with the parenthesis, 4 space from the function name, 4 space from the left, not 4 space but couple of space from the left, right? But we never aligned just underneath the function. We did not do this, right? So that is something is showing to be wrong, I think, depending when the parameter starts in the next line. But when the parameter starts on the first line and it extends it, in that case it's best that you put the parameters between this first bracket, right? Okay, I'm just checking if the Facebook Live also shows my cursor or not. Okay, so this is code layout, right? Okay, so no extra indentation. Okay, I think here we are seeing that I think the conditional, right? Conditional if what needs to be the indentation, right? So actually, as per the style guide, all of them are told to be good. Okay, so yes, they are syntactically correct, but whether good style or not, but it is being told that is a good style, right? So here when we are breaking at the end, and then we are aligning with the parenthesis. Okay, just under this, and also here the class, the function name is there. I think that's the statement, right? Here we are just adding a comment, right? Here we are just adding a comment, and here we are taking the operator and to the next line, and also putting some space, right? I might like the last one more, right? I might like the last one more, because if I go to the next line, I can see what is the operator, and then I can also see the space, so I can assume that this has something to do with this thing, right? With this condition thing. So I might like this more than the others, but all of them are mentioned to be good in terms of style, PEP 8. Okay. So when you write the Python code, how many characters you want to put? How many characters you want to put in a line? Usually the recommendation is 80 characters, 79 characters, right? 79. Limit all lines to maximum of 79 characters. Okay. So if you want to break, try to break at around 79. Probably depending on where your word starts or ends, depending on you can change it a bit, right? Okay, usually lower, not higher. Okay. Okay. So when you're writing code and breaking a line, so where will you break? You will break immediately after an operator or just before an operator? If you saw the previous one, if we think and is an operator, we break before, right? Now here the first one they are telling that we went to the new line after the operator, right? Now the code, sometimes it may not be very readable. It may not be very readable. What it does mean is that okay, when I'm reading it, if I don't see an operator in front, then I need to find out where the operators are. So it looks like the operator and operand, if there is a too much gap in between, it becomes difficult to read. Okay, so that's why we prefer that you break just immediately before the operator. Even when you write SQL statement, usually we break before the operator and we take operator to the next line, right? That makes the code more readable. So this is the wrong way of doing, and this is the correct way of doing in terms of how it will look and how great it will become readable or not, in that sense, right? But the first one, definitely that will also be correct in terms of the syntax, Python syntax. If you compile it, yes, it will, both of them will work. But the latter one, it will become more readable. I think it will be easier to read by the other developers, and it also does mean that it can make their life easy. Okay. Now blank lines, right? Blank lines, what does it mean? It does mean that do you put empty lines in your code or not, right? Empty lines in your code or not. In general, yes, sometimes putting empty lines in between different lines of code, that actually makes your code more readable, right? Okay, just separation of different concept or different logic or different grouping of statements. To show those, you can use some sort of empty lines, just no code, right, between two blocks, right? So in general, it is a good idea. Now, sometimes we use one empty line in between code, or sometimes you can use two, right? Sometimes one, sometimes two. Usually you will not see more than two. Usually one line, one empty line, or two empty lines. That is the common practice, right? Usually in between groups we use one. I think within a function, let's say within a function in between groups of statements, I think each group will be doing one particular thing. In that case, we put one space, right? Now, usually in the class or a function, top level function, we usually put two empty lines around them, right? Okay, so let's see, top level function and class definition, use two blank lines, and method definitions inside a class are surrounded by a single blank line. What it means, inside a class there are multiple function definition, method definition, right? So to separate from one method definition to another method definition, you need to put one empty line. If you don't put it, still that will compile, that will work. I think Python is not compiled, interpreted. Yes, it will execute, right? But it may not look good, right? And also, yes, for separation, we can also put some comments before the function. That will give some separation from the other function, but still, immediately before the comment, you can also put one empty line. Okay. And extra empty lines can be used sparingly. Okay, what it does mean? Let's see. You have inside a function, you have lots of code, right? Or probably, let's say, you are not even using any function, you are not even using class. In a Python script, you are writing many different things in it, right? Now, do you write everything one line after one line without any spaces? That actually will not make your code look good, or will not make your code look very readable. So what you do, yes, definitely you need to put some empty lines in between, sometimes randomly, sparingly. So usually it's better that if you can think, okay, these 5 lines or these 10 lines, they are sort of doing one particular thing. Okay, put some one line, empty line before and after, and make some comment. That way it will look good. Okay, source file encoding in PEP8, the source file usually used UTF-8 encoding. UTF-8 encoding, if you use some other encoding, depending on the different IDs, you may see strange characters or not. So, yeah, in general, UTF-8 will be good. Okay, it is the syntax for importing, right? Importing multiple things with comma, this is not recommended. Each line one import, that is what it is recommended, right? Import OS, import sys. And if you just want to import something from a particular library, yes, that is also a valid syntax. From subprocess import, right? From this module import, these are that kind of thing, right? Okay, so white space. Yes, you need to use some white space. The previous topic was empty lines in between statements or in between coding lines, right? But this is spaces on the same line. On the same line, how much space you use. Okay, yes, you need to use some space, not too much. That is one thing. And also it does not, not using any space let's say let's say on the two sides of an operator plus, right? Let's say 1 plus 2. If you don't use any space around the plus, that is not a good thing, right? 1 plus 2, 1 space plus space 2, that in general is seen to be good, right? But it does not mean that 1 space plus space 2. No, that is also not good. You need to use just enough space to make it more readable. Okay, not too many, and also not that you are not using any space. No, it's not like that. Okay. So here, what are this spam? After first bracket there is a space. It looks a little bit overdone. And in the ham, list, or array, whatever we say beside 1 there is a space. It's not the place where you really put a space, right? So that's not what it is, right? Ideally, I could write in the PyCharm or some other studio and I could show it. So yeah, let me see. I probably don't have enough time right now. I have another thing to do. So yeah, now here, before the space before egg, you don't need it. Okay. So let's say the correct, you can see there is no space around 1, there is no space under spam. So before x there is no space, right? And here there is an additional space, right? Bar equals to 0, comma, and then space, and then parenthesis. But you don't need it. When there is just a comma, nothing after that, you can just immediately close it. You don't need to show that more things will come up, keep some space. No need for it, right? Okay, so here if x double equals, this part seems okay, but the space immediately after 4, that's not what we do, right, in general, right? Even in Python, you usually put colon immediately after it's a while statement and then if statement, we put colon immediately after it, right? So after the condition or the condition expression, that's what we put, right? Now here, print x space comma space y. This is probably a little bit overkill, right? Especially the comma, the space after x, right? We put a x comma space y. That's okay. The space after x, that is not what is a good style, right? Okay, I think x space comma space y, it is also not good. Y space comma space x, that is also not good. I think we need to remove the space just immediately after the x here and immediately after the y here, just here, the correct version, right? That's how it becomes better. So I think here you can see a little bit of, let's see, in terms of spacing, yes, 1 colon space 9, it is not allowed, or it is not a good things. here we keep it close, right? We keep it close. We use some range, or we use range with this step. So in these cases, we actually don't keep any space. Okay. Now, yeah, again in the range, so we don't use any space because of the range. Lower colon upper, that is lower range and upper range, and lower plus offset, upper plus offset. Okay, we also not keeping space, but we're keeping space around the colon. Yeah, sometimes things can get little tricky. I think you may need to just remember this, carefully remember this and work on it, right? Okay, now, yeah, function call, right? Function call, spam space, that's not what we want, right? We want it connected, right? Just like this. Here the same thing, we want it connected. TCT, this space is overkill, right? And the space after LST, that is overkill. So you can do it. But beside the equal operator, yes, spaces, yes, that's a good practice. Okay, this is correct. Around space, that is correct. This is wrong. Wrong in terms of style, but syntactically, yes, it is correct, but style not correct, right? So lots of space then equals. Now you don't need to align this, right? In programming, we don't align it like this. So okay, this is wrong. I think we want a space around this equal sign, I equals to I plus 1 around this equal sign, and also we want space around this plus, right? Here we will want a space after this equal sign, and we can see for multiplication we are not liking the space. Okay, but around the operator, yes. So yes, again using the multiplication, we need to keep them together. On the right side you can see there will be space around the operator, right? Okay, here it's a little different, right? When it comes down to plus operation, because multiple groups and multiplication, then we are giving some space, and then star. Okay, it probably will to make things more readable. That's sort of what I can say. That's what the style guide says, right? Style guide says. Okay, function correct. Okay, I believe this is what they are saying. In the function parameter, if you assign some default value, we don't keep any space around the operator. Okay, and also there are some things we also do not keep a space here, right? We also keep a space here. But when in the statements or in the assignments, in generally keep it. But in the function calling, in the case of function calling, we prefer not to keep a space around the operands, right? Okay, here there is some conditional statement, then some loop while. In general, what I do, we usually break things in multiple lines, right? If condition, then we take it in the next line, and then definitely indent from the left. That we'll do. All these multiple statements, one after another with semicolon. It is syntactically okay, but this is not what we want is for style, because it's difficult to read, and sometimes depending on the name of the function, if they're longer names and they come one after another, it can be difficult to find out where one function ends and another function call starts, and if they have parameters inside, that things can get longer, right? That's not what we want. You can see on the right side. Okay. And indentation, yet it makes sense. Again, the same problem is there. Okay. Comment, right? Usually how do you do comment? Yes, we write comment before a class, or for the entire script, entire file, or before a particular function. Okay, so we can use single line comment or we can use multiple line comment, right? For multiple line comment, usually it is recommended to use full sentences, usually full sentences. Usually commenting on the right side for one line inline statements, inline comments, in general that is not preferred, and sometimes it is not preferred that you write the most obvious thing, right? You wrote x equals to x plus 1. If we just comment add 1 to x, there is no need, right? We can see. But if it is just to address some critical cases that you want to increase the boundary for whatever reason, probably to match with other boundaries or to indicate something, so in that case, okay, x equals to x plus 1 inline comment, the pound sign, you can say that this will keep the boundary consistent or something meaningful, right? So if it's a special case for a particular line, is definitely commented inline. Feel free to use inline, but you can also explain it on the other types of comments, right? Okay. Another thing is the comment will need to represent the code itself, right? Now sometimes you change the code, but you don't change the comment. That is also even worse than not having any comments, right? Comments in general is expected to be full sentences. Block comments, it can have multiple paragraphs. Okay, comment needs to be clear and understandable, and it is recommended to write comments in English, right? Even if you are a native Bengali speaker or Hindi speaker or Arabic speaker, so write your comments in English. In general, majority of the developers will be able to read it, right? Okay, inline comments, there is no point of writing increment text, x equals to x plus, we can see it. But compensatory border, yes, definitely, that is a good idea. Okay, for documentation string, that's the syntax that you can use. Even for one line, you can use it. Okay, naming conventions, I think the name of the variable, name of the functions, you can use one of the standard ways, right? So I believe lowercase with underscores, that probably is a good way. If there are multiple words, lowercase with underscore, for each of the word you put a I believe it is called a snake case, right? Snake case. And another thing is it can be this one, capitalized words, capitalized words. Okay, commonly distinguished. Okay, so miscellaneous, if greeting double equals to true, okay, this is not great. If greeting, okay, if greeting is true, that is also not good. Okay, this is wrong. I think this is because of this, right? Because of this space. Okay. After space is okay, before space is not. Okay. Okay, I think the not comes later. If who is not, if not who is none. Okay, so if who is not none, more readable. Okay, lambda expression. Yeah, I think instead of this, I think it depends what is the parameter, operator, and what you are doing with it, depending on it. Sometimes you might prefer to use the code itself. Code means, I mean the function itself, okay? Okay, let me see if I can share the document.